Alright, welcome back to our continued adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are tackling the latest challenge, that being Serpent Stealer. Medium challenge, analyze the Serpent Stealer malware as a malware analyst. So this might be kind of difficult. Alright, so located in the heart of the financial district, a leading multinational company was hit by a sophisticated data theft. Over several months, confidential customer data, proprietary software, and sensitive financial information were stolen. The company's cybersecurity team recently discovered that a Stealer malware was responsible for the breach. They are analyzing the Stealer and trying to protect the company from future attacks. And I'm assuming they're going to give us a Windows VM by the file location, and then we've got the actual malware itself all zipped up. So that leads to the question, okay, what is Serpent? And so I will go through and, as per the normal, grab and put the URLs for these particular articles. So basically just tout it out. Info Stealer, like we've been able to sit there and yeah. So let's see. Compact and efficient, stealthy, evasion, simplified exfiltration. Awareness, regular updates, multi-factor authentication. Oh, if it's an info stealer and it grabs a session cookie, that bypasses MFA, so good luck with that. Regular backups. Yeah, I suppose if you find a system that's actually infected, nuke and move on. What else do we have? So K7 security, uncovering the serpent. So let's see. .NET based malware has the ability to not only acquire sensitive information from the most popular online browsers and applications, but also has the capability. If you can acquire it, so it's been difficult to exfiltrate the passwords up till now before. It don't seem quite right. Oh, let's see. To stay stealthy, the Stealer bypasses Windows User Access Control UAC, debuggers and virtual machines, exfiltrates the browser data and passwords via webhooks, and, of course, giant shock, Discord abuse. So I think that's probably one of the bigger aspects of consideration. If you're running an organization and Discord is not approved, block all the domains. Block it at the perimeter, block it at the workstation level, just knock it the hell out. Okay, so what are they showing then? It just confirms it's a .NET based, utilizes the .NET runtime, 64-bit exe. Data collection begins with obtaining autofill information and the like. Okay, so what about Malpedia? So let's see, we got the K7, we got VMware from now 2 years ago, the backdoor that hides in plain sight. New backdoor targets French entities with unique attack chain from 2022. Abuses chocolatey Windows Package Manager. Okay. And Threatmon, you're gonna. Well, basically confirms bypasses UAC. Yeah, I don't think I want to download the report. But yeah, it does confirm .NET based. Advanced evasion techniques, including AV evasion, virtual machine detection, anti-debugging. Okay, so let's see if our VM has stood up yet. Almost. Almost. I suppose I should probably pull up RDP as well. So once that's basically all hooked together. So basically this is going to be a .NET piece of malware, 64-bit, that should be apparently debugger and VM, everything else aware. And apparently we should be seeing some sort of address for the exfil to probably some Discord CDN. Well, let's see what kind of questions we get. What's the MD5 hash for the malware? What is the name of the list the malware uses to evade detection by the virus total check? What is the name of the folder that is used by the malware to collect the password on it? What is the first command that the malware uses to bypass UAC? How many file extensions does the malware target? What is the first process listed in the blacklisted processes used by the malware? What's the last wallet name that is targeted by the malware on the list? After getting the current user, what is the subkey used by the malware to dump FTP credentials? Oh boy. Apparently we're kind of stuck on 99%, even though it looks like there's a bit more to go than 1% on that. So, in the interest of time, we'll pause and pick back up. Okay, we are up and running. It wasn't actually much more than maybe 30 seconds since I paused. So we're in. I've got the RDP pulled up and dumped into this, and as it was spelled out, it's there on the desktop, challenge file, sample.7zip. So I have gone through and right-clicked on the file, extract with the 7-zip. Once the password, typical password, is infected, that apparently worked. What tools do we have? Oh, we got a lot of tools. So our biggest thing is, let's take the hash calc, because we're going to get started with that. We're going to dump this in here, and what did we need? We needed the MD5 for the malware, which is fine. This comes through. We'll tell it to calculate just to make sure that it did. And we are, of course, doing this as it's been extracted. We're doing it in the data format of a file. And it looks like it starts with alpha 8 and ends in Bravo Echo 9. So let's just copy paste that. And we're just going to paste it back in over here. Same aspect start. This is why I've got the screen divided in such a way. We'll hit submit, and we are correct. And I got my 1-day streak. Okay, so what if you had a situation like this where you didn't have the calc tool handy? Well, if you're fairly certain it is malware, you can do the, open up PowerShell window, go to the particular location of the file, get dash file hash, space, and then the location of the file. So if you've already cd'd into the directory with the executable, then you basically would just give it the file name, and it will pop out by default the SHA-256 hash. You can do, get dash file hash, and then space dash A to specify the algorithm, and then you can specify MD5, and then again the file location with the name. It would give you the MD5 from there if you can't, for whatever reason, get another tool. And then you can obviously take that hash and try searching in VirusTotal, any.run, just to see if anybody else has tried to do any sort of analysis on it thus far. So we are moving into the list. So we're going to start doing some, reverse engineering. So the hint is, for this question, check the is VirusTotal parentheses method. So we are breaking into. So we're going to do IDA and we're going to do Ghidra. IDA worked fairly well. with the Mac OS. And of course, we're specifying the file, not the compressed MetaPC, disassemble all opcodes. Yeah, we'll just leave it as that. Oh, apparently we can't, because that is not included. But why would it be? Can we do just like the PE64? All we got was start. Okay, well, let's try Ghidra. Just throw in some generic crap. We'll do finish. I've got to remember what the hell we're even doing here. So take this, drag that in. It should dump it in, do it. What are our options? Portable executable? Yeah, we're fairly certain. Sure, let's try that. And also by the same portion. Okay, we get the import. And if we go down to about the middle portion, we would also have another opportunity here to grab the MD5 of the file. Unable to read past. All right, ILSpy. And we'll point it to the sample and see what we can get. All right, so let's bring this big. So that seemed to pop in something. Simply title Serpent. .NET Core App version 7. And it starts breaking down here. So we get an array of VTPC names and username. Okay, so they're doing the check. And so this is the Boolean section for evasion. Hey, look, it's got a list of names for VT machines. Hopefully these have all been rotated and changed to something else a little bit more random. But the question is, name of the list the malware uses. Well, the only thing we have is this VT PC names. because it's pulling the username from the environment. So if I'm going to take a wild stab at this, I'm going to assume it's going to be the VTPC names. We'll pop that in there. Let's see if I'm right. Hey! Okay, and then we move on to the name of the folder that was used by the malware to collect the password in it. Then we're checking the run method and search for create directory API. So where... So give me run. Really? Presentation framework. So what is it? Check the run method and the create directory. Because you would assume that if it's going to sit there and do this, it's got to start somewhere, right? And so it's grabbing the autofill so web data, but I don't see a section in there in regards to creating. Yeah, so the very first sections are checked. So it looks like embed is the first thing to run after the checks. So what's inside of embed? All right, so let's see. It goes through, tries to get the public IP address. Password stealer. .run. If null, console write line, send me the results. Okay, so what's the next thing that it goes? So it looks like Discord stealer? Let's scope to this. And let's try create directory. I don't know if that's how it's actually supposed to play out, because I don't play with this that often. I just find it odd that, I mean, we go through, because it's supposed to be what, method? And we just change it around, but yet we don't get anything. Wait, wasn't there something in there about FTP? Yeah, there was. The last question, after getting the current user, what is the subkey used by the malware to dump FTP credentials? So it gets the user and it looks like it's software, Microsoft FTP. So, okay, we might just go out of order for this one. Correct. And the hint is check the FTP Stealer method, which, okay, we're underneath. Whatever. So wait, shouldn't there be like a run method then here? Target does not have FTP. Oh, it's nice of them to sit there and make sure that they wouldn't be looking constantly. But yet we are still missing. Because I do not see a section in here, and maybe I'm blind. I don't see a creation of a location for this stuff, so we might just have to kind of go trampesing through this entire thing. I guess I just find it odd that we don't even have that's proven to be completely worthless. Okay, well, I guess, let's work backwards and maybe we'll figure it out. So the next aspect is the wallets. So if we take a look at this, it could be Monero, if it's by this first string. If it's the second array, it would be Feather. And do we have any other? Oh, okay, here. I might have just found it. If directory exists text, console right line, serpent folder does not exist, creating it. Directory dot create directory text. Serpent folder created at. So if we go back up, what's the name of the folder? I mean, is it really? Did they really just make it the name of the? They did make it just the name of the malware. Okay. Oh God. So we go back here. I'm gonna go off of the first portion and I'm gonna see if it's, no, it's not Monero. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Check the wallets method. Public wallets. All right, the last item on the other list then is Feather. Feather's correct. What is the first process listed in the blacklisted processes used by the malware? Where was the, oh, okay. Blacklisted processor, strings, underneath evasion, anti-AV. The first thing we can see here that comes up is process hacker. So let's dump that in there and see what comes out. Correct answer. All right. How many extensions does the malware target? Check the file stealer method to find supported extensions. So let's see. File stealer is underneath modules, and then file stealer. So let's see. That's folders. Supported extensions. Here we go. So let's see. 1, 2. So TXT, HTML, PHP, CS, Python, JSON, C, CPP, BAT, command. So it looks like 21, CSS, JS, ODT, MP3, PNG, MP4, GIF, WAV, JPEG, and NIM. So 21, 21. Okay, then we're up to UAC, which would be back to the evasion underneath. Well, basically underneath the sample, and then where was it? UAC. So the first string that we run is PSCMD1, So new item, H key, current user, software classes, MS settings, shell open, command, dash force. Assuming that they're going to obviously do it by 1, 2, 3. And there we go. So if we take that down, bing, bang, boom, we have completed. Hooray. I'm assuming I'm not going to make it to the scoreboard again because, yeah, the scoreboard was filled up probably the day that this thing was kicked off. So, ah, well, I only have so much time in the day. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that was a bit of an odd duck, if you will. I can't say that I've ever used ILSpy before for any of this stuff. Usually it's IDA or Ghidra. Um, though for whatever reason, I want to say like, isn't it like DNS Spy is also a tool that could be used for it? JetBrains.peak. I mean, we've already effectively got this hammered out, so let's see if there's anything else that falls through. If not, so let's try to open. Challenge file, all supported extensions. Yeah, it's not really in there. So if we load it, it comes back up, gives us the name, that it's .NET Core App 7.0. And if we were to basically just blast this thing open, we see most of the same of what we were looking at before. We get the various modules drop down, we get Evasion. So UAC. Shouldn't we get like a... Okay, just takes it a second. But yeah, so we see the whole thing laid out here. Is it that it's taking a second, or... I don't see a status window for anything. And I can't say I've ever used this before, so I don't know. Or is it just because the fact that because we've got this opened up, we can see all the rest of the information. So like if we go back to the anti-VM and try to pull that, just click on it and highlight it. Double click, then we get it opened up. Okay. But we can pull the same particular aspect too, considering the fact static read-only string, and then we get the VT PC names. So I imagine it's just going to be the same aspect to go through. So I guess if we didn't do research, I guess the question would be, how would we know what tool to go through and use? Because we know that if it's, something written in like C or I forget what was it C# that the macOS malware was written in? So if we end up with something like this, how do we make the assertion that we would need to run? Like if I were to dump it inside of here, we get, okay, Visual C, basic.NET to give us some sort of an idea. it would tell us .NET executable. So then we would be looking for some sort of .NET tool, which apparently ILSpy and the JetBrains.peak would work. All right, so that's exe info PE that would tell us that. What else do we have? All right, detected easy. Let's see if it is easy. Drop it in here. It does confirm. Library.net. I'm assuming that's the section here underneath the PE, why the other portions are dumped out. So yeah, just continues that, yeah, .NET. So then obviously it would be figuring out from that particular, what other tools could you sit there and use. So I'm fairly certain that ILSpy would be another tool that could be used. Yeah, .NET debugger and assembly tool. Or is it supposed to be just DNSpy? Am I just pronouncing it wrong? Regardless, sit there and add that in along with the other aspects here. But so there we go. Yeah, so I guess the other aspect is too, we did the hash the files, everything else like that. So if we took that and we just said nuts to this, let's dump it inside of IRIS_total. Let's see if we can get a name and then try to figure out from there. So say, nuts to this, I did not feel like trying to load up Detected Easy or anything else like that. I want to just see, okay, what do we get? Alibaba, Disco Stealer, Mamut, Password Stealer, so generic stuff there. Is there anything that comes out and just says, hey dummy, it's Serpent? Not so much. Family labels, Disco Stealer seems to be repeated a good bit. Yeah, nothing in there denotes it's Serpent. So I guess it would not be as easy as... Okay, well, not from the detection names, but this is why you just can't focus on the detection. So community, somebody else has gone through, and we get the Yara signature matches of Mal_Serpent Stealer November 23rd. Or I'm assuming it's November 2023. So late last year. Let's see. Defense Evasion, known usernames, crypto coin wallet stealer indicators. Man, Yara for the win, man. As long as you got the right rule set. So it would be something else. Oh, I guess the name serpent.dll. But then I guess the question would also come down to it. Okay, you find this thing and say you do the same exact aspect and nothing comes back inside of IRIS_total. So then you would end up having to actually go the long way, if you will. Let me get the RDP window out of the way. So we've got the detections in the community. Check behavior, details, everything else like that. But yeah, this is the section I was looking at over here. The family labels, Disco Stealer. But yeah, nowhere in here out of both sections did I really see Serpent. So like if we just one match, and it's only in the name of the file, serpent.dll. So, but yeah, so it's IRIS_total, or you couldn't get anything in regards to the hash, and you may find yourself in this situation sooner rather than later. This is why it would be important to have all these tools on a box. to go through and take your suspected file and try to go through and take a whack at it with all these different tools to figure it out. So don't do what I did and just immediately jump into IDA or Ghidra. Probably 95, 99% of the time, you'll be fine. But as we obviously observed in this particular aspect, we don't get anything when we try to do them. So it's, again, having a better understanding of the right tool for the job. And given the fact that I try to spend as little time as possible running through these particular aspects myself, just because of the fact that, work, I don't have a dedicated machine for that. It is what it is. It's okay, quick, dirty. What can we try to get something out of? Yeah, so there we go. Relatively easy and straightforward, thankfully, as long as you're utilizing the right tools. So if you're going to go through and do this yourself, the provided ILSpy will go through and do it. I'll probably play around with this a little bit more and see as to whether or not if I could use something like the DNSpy to go through and break the stuff over. But so there we go. That has been Serpent Stealer on the Let's Defend platform. And with all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video.